Maman voye m'peze café, ouais. En arrivant dans ce potage, j'entends ma mère arrêter. Maman voye m'peze café, ouais.
I make it a point never to try and make strategy or tell black folk how to wage their struggle for freedom. I think that if they're interested in what I'm doing, I'm glad to tell them. And if they ask my opinion, I'm glad to offer it. But as a general rule, I think black folk have to make these decisions for themselves.
White racists don't want other white people to be anti-racists. Greetings, YouTube. This is the Garage Autonomist. I got to get out of here for a family function and, God, I have less than an hour, so I'm going to be late already, but I want to talk about something that I've noticed and it's been amusing to me as of late, and that's regarding my video from last year titled Allies I Can Fuck With. Redneck Revolt. So far, it's the highest viewed video in my catalog and still gets comments to this day, unlike all the rest of my videos. The video talks about Redneck Revolt, a radical left organization that was originally an offshoot of the John Brown Gun Club, a firearms training and community defense program founded in Lawrence, Kansas, that could be seen as similar to the original armed self-defense program of the Black Panther Party back in the 60s. Redneck Revolt are anti-racist, they're anti-capitalist, and anti-fascist. They seek to do alliance building with communities of color and currently promoting check-in and mutual aid efforts for people who are survivors of Hurricane Florence. The amusing part to me is that the traffic to the old video and the comments under it are fueled by, I suspect, the pure fury by racist white folks ranging from conservatives to white nationalists, fascists, and the rest of the vermin of the alt-right who hate the fact that there are white people breaking what white supremacy socially engineers, a sense of entitlement, privilege, and lack of empathy, and blind racial chauvinism. In other words, white radicals get the ire of racists, and more so, gun-toting white radicals got these pigs shook as hell. And from my point of view, it's people like Redneck Revolt, Antifa, and the woman who exposed and filmed Barbecue Becky, Michelle Snyder, are actual cool peoples. You see, the term cool peoples is used a lot by confused, misguided, backward black folks here in social media, but they often refer to people like YouTuber, Junk Pile Video, or hangers-on like Eye of the Storm. These people lurk about the black circles of YouTube and act little more than missionaries of the alt-right's colonization efforts over people of color. See, people like them hold their noses hanging out with black men of the manosphere and the foot-shuffling mammies of the black sector just long enough to foment infighting among black folks, all the while whispering sour axioms of the reactionary right. These are not cool peoples.
It seems to me to whiteness, it's not that anybody has to be beat over the head, force them to be white, it's that they just grow up that way all around them. Now, I think that there have been times, the 1960s is the last time I remember, when the black movement was so strong and so powerful that it was challenging the privileges of whiteness on the job and in the schools and, pretty much throughout the society. And I think it began to force a lot of others, a lot of so-called white people, to think about, wait a minute, did I earn these privileges? Do I have privileges, and did I earn them? I think the black movement has historically, I think the same thing, of course, was true under slavery and abolition. The black movement has been a challenge to so-called white folks to start to think about, wait a minute, who am I? What is my relation to my fellow human beings? What part do I play in this system? But for most of the time, they just go along following the program, the way most human beings have done since the beginning of history. Follow the world around you.
So if you are indeed a white person looking to unpack and shed white supremacy, you are in the same good company as Redneck Revolt and others. I gotta go. This is the Garage Autonomist. Peace.
Let me give you an analogy. See, I think the strength of a society, of an oppressive society, is the ability to confine the active oppression, the specific, to a small number of deliberate conscious agents and leave most people out of it, or at least let them think that they're out of it. Most white people in this country are not aware that they play any part in the oppression of non-white. The system is set up so that they don't have to directly take part. Wendell Phillips, the great abolitionist from Boston, used to stand up in front of a crowd of Bostonians, and he would say to them, fellow subjects of Virginia. And what he was trying, see, because the people in Massachusetts, they were all anti-slavery. 95% of them were anti-slavery. But they thought they had nothing to do with it. It was somebody else's problem. And Wendell Phillips used to get up there and push their noses in their own complicity. He would say, look, it was your guns that paid for the army that put down Nat Turner. It was your guns that paid for the army that put down John Brown. It is your guns that keep the police force going, that keeps the slaves in bondage. And that's the point he was always trying to make, that it's not somebody else is doing. It's not happening outside. It's happening right there, except that you are blinded to it because, one, it's not easy to see, and second of all, it's more comfortable not to see it.